In this video, we're taking a look at some of the world's hottest comic books and discussing whether they are good purchases, bad purchases. Also, there's some really interesting speculation topics that are brought to light with this list, so stay tuned.
Bry's Comics.
We have my biggest mystery box ever, the ultimate Bry box of mystery. There's going to be 3 grand prizes. Incredible Hulk 180 CBCS 7.5 signed by Stan Lee, valued at over $2,000. Amazing Spider-Man 252 newsstand edition CGC 9.8 white pages. Last eBay sale $2,750. And it wouldn't be a Bry box of mystery without a copy of Ultimate Fallout 4, this time a second print CGC 9.8 valued somewhere between $500 and $600. There's also going to be 20 mini prizes valued at between $250 and $350, and there's a whole bunch of $200 boxes in there as well, but each box is valued at least $175 and will contain 1 to 2 CGC modern spec books. Some boxes will have raw books depending on what slabs you get. There's a maximum of 250 boxes, so if we sell out within the first few days, we'll go ahead and draw the winners by random wheel spin and start shipping right away. If we don't sell all the boxes by Friday, we're going to stop sales, draw the winners, and start shipping then. So regardless of how many boxes we sell. So the same prizes will be in there regardless of how many boxes we sell, and everything will ship out by this Friday, and sales are live now at bryscomics.com. And just a heads up, if you sign up for the newsletter at bryscomics.com, first of all, you're entered to win a free slab each and every month. This month is 2 free slabs, but that's also where I announce the mystery boxes first. So if you sign up for the newsletter, you get first shot at the mystery boxes. And also we do a monthly giveaway on my YouTube channel. This month it's 2 slabs, one of which is a CGC graded Pokemon card. If you subscribe to the channel, comment on this video, and like this video, you are entered to win that. So with that said, let's head over to keycollectorcomics.com and look at the Hot 10. All right, so here we are in Key Collectors Comics, and we're looking at the Hot 10. Number 10 on the list is Avengers number 62, the first appearance of M'Baku, aka Man-Ape, the leader of the White Gorilla Cult, and the first appearance of W'Kabi, the second in command to T'Challa. So there is all kinds of speculation going around about who is going to pick up the mantle of Black Panther in the next Black Panther movie. And the 2 people that are leading the pack is Shuri and M'Baku. And there's reports circling around that there's been problems on the set with Letitia Wright, the actress. And there's also reports circling around that it is going to be Shuri throughout the movie, and then towards the end of the movie, she's going to pass off the mantle to M'Baku. And that seems plausible to me, but at this point, nobody really knows what's going to happen. So what is the takeaway from that? My takeaway from that is that speccing on Black Panther and who's going to take on the role right now is really risky. I think that it makes me uncomfortable. I mean, just the idea of somebody else taking on the mantle of Black Panther makes me uncomfortable. I'm a diehard T'Challa fan, and this could not go well for the franchise. People might not receive it well. So I think the whole thing about speccing on Black Panther right now is super risky. This book in particular, though, M'Baku, I think went undervalued for a long time because he's already in the MCU, and this was just a really undervalued book. So if it does get passed to M'Baku, if he's going to lead the franchise going forward and fans receive him well, then this book could have a ton of potential, but that's a lot of ifs, and I think that it's just a little too risky right now for me. Thor 134 is the first appearance of the High Evolutionary, a geneticist obsessed with evolutionary experimentation. And this one is interesting. So I was specking on this book years ago, all the way back when Swagglehoss first started mentioning it on his channel. And I have bought and sold my copies since then. So it's like I've already, made what I was comfortable making off of this spec and this character. I just have this sinking feeling that the High Evolutionary is going to be one of those specs that just comes crashing down after the movie. It feels like something that could possibly just be a one and done. It feels like, without giving away any spoilers, kind of like an Illuminati type situation where, yes, they're in the movie, but, the spec isn't going to have this huge fervor behind it when the movie's actually over. So, my advice would be, if you bought in a long time ago, and you're sitting way far in the green on this book, and your intent all along was to flip this book, I would say sell it now. Erase all of that risk, like of how important this character is going to be, and just take your profit and move on. Because, like I like to say, nobody ever went broke taking a profit, but a lot of people have gone broke holding out for more profits. On the other hand, Fantastic Four Annual number 6, the first appearance of Annihilus and the first appearance of Franklin Richards. I think that this book has a ton of potential, even at today's prices and even with the recent increase. If you pay attention to any of the other YouTube channels that have like fan theories and where the MCU is going, there's a ton of like, really great like Easter egg type movies where these guys just spend their lives diving into the MCU, and they have some great, theories, and a lot of times they're right. And there's a lot of evidence right now pointing towards Franklin Richards having an important role in the MCU. But the beauty of this book is that it's a double key. We also have the first appearance of Annihilus, who also has a lot of potential in the MCU. So I think even at today's prices, this is a fantastic buy. There was a 9.6 that sold for $17,000 and a 9.8 that sold for $33,000. And my buddy Steven at Minor Keys Comics also sold his 9.6 copy, I believe, for well over $20,000. So I don't even think this is the highest sale, so there could be trickle downs for that, but we're still in the speculation phase, and this book has a lot of room when these other things start to actually come to fruition. Number 7 on the list is Batman 251. As almost everyone is probably aware at this point, we had the unfortunate passing of Neil Adams that has caused a lot of his key books and iconic covers to spike in value. And this one being no exception, a 9.8 selling for $35,000, almost triple what it was just last year, which is just a phenomenal sale. And I think it's a great way for us in the community to honor these creators that we love and adore. When they pass, it's our natural inclination is to go secure those books because we want to celebrate their legacy. We want to celebrate the impact that they've had on us. And I actually almost pulled the trigger on a really expensive Neil Adams key, and the only reason I didn't is because somebody beat me to it. So, I think there will be some trickle-down effects for the other grades for this book. This book in itself, even before the news of Neil passing, was hitting this hot list because it's such an iconic cover. It's just one of those Batman keys that will continue to have good investment potential going forward. And in the same vein, we have Tales of the Teen Titans number 44 because of also the unfortunate passing of George Perez, causing a major surge in interest for his classic covers, titles, and characters. This being where Dick Grayson becomes Nightwing, and also the origin of Deathstroke and Jericho. So fans just wanting to secure those keys that mean the most to them related to these legendary creators. Amazing Spider-Man number 19. This is the first appearance of Mac Gargan, who becomes the Scorpion in the next issue. And this is a spec that was, it's kind of hard to call it a spec at this point. It's kind of hard to call any Amazing Spider-Man 12-cent key issue a spec. At this point, they're pretty much all blue chip keys, which is why this is such a great investment. I think there's tons of potential for this because you've got this classic Spidey cover. You've got this key significance of a spec that still has potential to play itself out. I think this is a phenomenal investment if you're looking for a safe place to park your money. Likewise, we have Amazing Spider-Man number 1, the Golden Record reprint. I think people are just now starting to realize just how rare these are and just how old these are. I think they're a fantastic buy and investment right now if you can get them around fair market value. Just be careful. There's a lot of people out there trying to get 2 times or 3 times the most recent sale, and you really just need to pay attention to the numbers and the sales and make sure that you're getting a good deal. They do come up for sale at auction often at the auction houses, so pay attention to that. Fantastic Four number 46, the second team appearance of the Inhumans and the first full appearance of Black Bolt, also the first appearance of Seeker and Inhuman. I think all Inhuman keys, like I've been saying for years actually, have a ton of potential. And since all of the attention right now is on Black Bolt, why not go for Fantastic Four number 45, which is the first full appearance of the Inhumans, a book that I also think is very undervalued. Or you've also got Fantastic Four 36, I believe it is, the first appearance of Medusa. There's a lot of Inhuman keys right now that have a ton of potential. They haven't even begun to see all the spikes in interest that we'll see for confirmations in future movies and trailers and casting announcements and whatnot. So I think the Inhumans are a great buy right now, and I would focus on some of the non-Black Bolt related Inhuman keys because they seem to be, a little bit more under the radar. Star Wars number two on the Hot 10, the first appearance of Obi-Wan, all these other first appearances. Now, I am sorry, but I have to say that I feel like this book is drastically overvalued. If you look at the sales history for this book, for Star Wars number 2, you could get a 9.8 copy of this for $500 all the way up until late 2020. And now it's $6,000. I mean, I just think that this is drastically overvalued. And if you go and look at the CGC census, there are only 149 9.8s on the census. That's like the one good thing going for this book, is that it's not nearly as overprinted as issue number 1. If you look at Star Wars number 1, which is also fetching like $6,000 right now, there's 829 9.8s and 13,000 total copies on the census. This book is not rare by any stretch of the imagination. However, issue number 2 have way more reasonable numbers. Only 2,800 total copies on the census, only 149 of which are 9.8s. And then if you look at the 35-cent variant, it's a true ghost with only 6 copies at the 9.4, none higher, 141 total 35-cent price variants. If you can ever find those in backbins, as a major come up. And then look at the UK edition, 7 total copies on the census. So I would just steer way clear of this book. I think that it's overvalued now. I think it's going to come crashing down. Ghost Rider number 1, the first solo series featuring Ghost Rider, and also the first cameo appearance of Damien Hellstrom. So I think this is a great buy. I think that if you are a Ghost Rider fan and you've been waiting to pull your trigger, I don't think you should wait any longer. I think now is the time to get in on this. If and when this is confirmed, prices are just going to soar, and if it's received well, they're just going to continue to soar. So if you've been waiting to add this to your PC, I don't think you should wait. I think you should do whatever it takes to be able to secure your Ghost Rider keys now. Take a look at your collection and see what can be moved out so you can get in on this before it goes any higher. And I also wanted to say that this presents an interesting thing I've been thinking a lot about lately, which is the first solo titled series for a character and just how important that is to collectors. People love their Marvel number 1s, and when you apply that to current spec and current MCU characters, I think of characters like America Chavez, and I think of her first solo series. I mean, a lot of people kind of look down on that and say, oh, what's the big deal? It's her first solo series. But this book came out 50 years ago, and look at how important it is and how expensive it is today. Imagine where America's first solo series will be in 50 years from now. I mean, I think that character has a ton of potential. It's just an interesting thing to think about how important first solo title series are to collectors and how to apply that today to get in on books that have their first solo title series now, because we're seeing a lot of them come to market. So there you have it, guys. Another fantastic list. What an amazing time to be a comic book collector, to be in the business of comic books. It's just so freaking exciting, and it just keeps getting better. I hope you guys are having as much fun as I am. Thank you as always for sticking with me to the end of the video, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.
Bry's Comics.